Easter blessings, and welcome to Mount Meditations, a weekly reflection made available to you by campus ministry at Mount St. Mary's University, Los Angeles. Each week of Eastertime in this unprecedented and challenging period of history, a member of the Mount community will choose a meaningful scripture passage and share a reflection on it. This week, Shannon Green, director of the Mount's CSJ Institute, reflects on the Easter week gospel story of Mary Magdalene at the tomb.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. The Gospel of the Lord. This Holy Week and Easter, I find I am relating to the experiences of the disciples like never before. Their world gets turned upside down over a matter of days. One moment there is a parade of joyful hosannas welcoming Jesus, and then the next, the city is calling for his execution. I could really sense their confusion, anxiety, and vulnerability. It feels like our new reality this year came so quickly, and within days, life as we knew it changed totally. Gatherings were canceled, classes were moved online, restrictions were placed on our movements. People have lost their jobs, family tensions may be growing, and people are getting sick and dying. I feel anxious and vulnerable. And as a person of faith, it is not at all clear to me what it is that I am supposed to do in all of this. And so I also feel guilty and helpless. And I think maybe the disciples felt this way too. In this gospel story, I imagine that Mary is in deep grief and just wants to find a way to connect to Jesus. So she goes to the tomb to be in the presence of his body. But then she actually sees him, although she does not yet know it's him. And this is such a beautiful encounter because Jesus gently and lovingly leads her into recognition of who he is. In the moment he says her name, which he must have done countless times, she knows him. She recognizes the voice of her beloved teacher calling for her, the one who showed her nothing but love and mercy. And so she does what any of us do when we see someone we love. She reaches out for him. But he says to her, "You can't hang on to me." And right now, I find this particularly poignant and painful. But I think he's saying to her, "Mary, I have to go. And here's the thing, you have to go too." He sends her. He sends her to spread the word to his brothers, "Go, go and tell. Tell them what you have seen and heard." So Jesus has revealed himself risen and glorified to Mary, but he is also showing Mary who she is becoming. As many theologians have pointed out, in this moment, Mary Magdalene is the church on earth. And the faithful disciple that she has always been, she does what he asks. She goes to the disciples and she preaches the very first Easter homily. Although Jesus is risen, this remains a time of great vulnerability for the disciples, filled with unknowing and anxiety. But Mary and the disciples can now respond with some courage and faith because they keep meeting Jesus, who keeps calling them by their name, greeting them with peace and telling them, "Do not be afraid," and then enlisting them to spread the good news to the people of God. During these days for us that are filled with vulnerability and anxiety, I am trying to hear the voice of Jesus calling me by name. And I find that whenever I encounter hope or joy or a sign of new life, these moments can offer us peace and encourage us to not be afraid. And perhaps we too, like Mary, can then respond with courage to bring the good news into a world that is suffering and in need of God's love, healing, and mercy now more than ever.